one thing that we'll note in this tweet is that he says there is no rule that an existing token can't do a massive airdrop with a little winky
Winky
face there.
face.
So yeah, and so who knows? Maybe an airdrop could be coming to zkEVM in the near future here as well.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Wagmi TV. My name is Soham, and I'm joined by my boy Ev today, and we're going to be talking about Polygon zkEVM. Now, if you guys have been following a lot of our videos this year, 2023 has really been L2 season, right? Starting off the year, we had Optimism really take off. Following that, we had Arbitrum absolutely blow up with the entire Arbitrum ecosystem pretty much going viral, making a lot of people a lot of money. Obviously, followed the Arbitrum airdrop that just amplified that even more. And now we're really getting into the phase of zero knowledge blockchains. And so this is a whole new kind of set of L2s. Both Optimism and Arbitrum are what's known as optimistic rollups. And really, we're getting into this time period where a lot of zero knowledge blockchains are now launching, which is a new type of L2. They have the similar goals of helping Ethereum scale, whether that's lowering gas fees for users or making transactions faster. All of really the same goals. They just kind of take a different approach. So the mainnet for Polygon zkEVM launched about 2 months ago. I think the real first question is what is the real difference between optimistic rollups and zk rollups? So Ev, you want to hop in there?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great overview. And yeah, like you said, we've seen a huge amount of investment in optimistic roll-ups in the past year, even to the point where Coinbase came in and partnered with Optimism and said, hey, we want to help be the core developers and help build out this layer 2 scaling solution with you guys. And so you can check out our analysis of Coinbase's L2 scaling solution in one of our past videos. But yeah, today we really want to talk about zero knowledge proofs and the mainnet launch of Polygon zkEVM. And so so when you look at the difference between zero knowledge scaling solutions layer 2s and optimistic layer 2s, the big thing are these zero knowledge proofs, and these are extremely difficult to implement, which is the reason why you really saw optimistic rollups kind of come to the masses quicker than these zero knowledge rollups. And so zero knowledge proofs offer quick finality to off-chain transactions while reducing latency and reducing fees. And so the big thing that you see here is both of these scaling solutions allow the Ethereum fees or the gas fees to be decreased a ton. But the biggest thing that you see is that with optimistic chains, they assume that all these transactions are properly formed and correct. Whereas with zero knowledge scaling solutions, they're actually doing proofs in transaction verification on every transaction to double check that these transactions are well formed and that you don't have any attacks on the system or people trying, to basically steal money from other users on the network. And so that's really the difficult part about these zero knowledge rollups, are these zero knowledge proofs. And so, towards the end of March, we saw the Polygon zkEVM chain launch, the mainnet beta. That same week, we also saw ZK Sync's Era chain launch. And so, these last 2 months have been a really big time period for zero knowledge scaling solutions, and one where they finally come into the fold and they're in the competition talks with Optimism, with Arbitrum. And so there's some pretty serious math being done in the back end here, Selly. But when you talk about the difference between ZKs and optimistics, at the end of the day, these ZKs are more secure. They're actually going to offer lower gas fees, and I believe there's probably some other advantages. So, do you have anything else that ZKs kind of have over optimistics and scaling solutions?
Yeah, well, one thing that I think is going to be pretty important, and this is coming from somebody who's used both Optimism and Arbitrum. I haven't used Polygon zkEVM yet, but one of the big things that stands out to me is if you're bridging from Ethereum L1 to Optimism or Arbitrum, that process is very seamless. It takes about 10 minutes, and you can easily bridge over. On the flip side, if you want to go from one of these optimistic rollups back to Ethereum L1, it actually takes a week. And that's because of the way the optimistic rollups work. There's a time period that basically do you remember what it's called? It's like a freeze period or something like that. Um,
Yeah, I think it's the settlement period essentially, where basically there has to be 7 days for users on the network to be able to submit like fraud proofs
mhm.
to the validators within these optimistic rollups. And essentially that's saying, hey, these transactions aren't well formed. Somebody's, either doing malicious activity on the network or trying to steal funds. And so that's why they have that 7 day period because they can't do those zero knowledge proofs in the optimistic scaling solutions.
Right, right. So there's kind of a dispute period that's built in there if you want to bridge back. Now, that's something that you're not going to have to deal with Polygon zk EVM or any of these other zero knowledge blockchains. When you bridge back to Ethereum L2, it'll be much much faster. The solution that they've come up with for optimism and the optimistic rollups is to use a third party bridge. And if we've of course seen the problems that have happened with third party bridges when it comes to security in the past, so this is definitely something that I think is a positive. Um, another kind of thing, and this kind of takes us into why you should be excited about Polygon zkEVM, right? Why have they gotten so much hype? I mean, it goes beyond, obviously they have the backing of, they were created by Polygon. They have a ton of investment behind them. Obviously, Polygon's business development team has been on fire over the last couple of years with a ton of marquee partnerships and things like that. But even beyond that, one of the most interesting things is if you go to um, on the zkEVM page, one thing that really excites me is this sentence right here, where all existing smart contracts, developer tooling, and wallets work seamlessly, right? Everything is fully equivalent to an EVM, meaning that it's going to be really easy for developers who have already developed dApps on Ethereum, obviously, where a ton of the liquidity in DeFi is already, to just seamlessly move over and deploy their dApps here on Polygon zkEVM. They say they're the first zero knowledge scaling solution to be able to do that. And I think that's going to be a huge differentiating factor when it comes to, of course, attracting developers, attracting new applications to be built on your blockchain, and in the end, translating to higher TVL and funds moving over to this blockchain. So, a couple of
Yeah,
the things
and
to be really excited about. Curious what you think.
yeah, and this is, actually a different approach than what ZK Sync is taking. They're EVM compatible chain, not EVM equivalent. And so the difference there is, like Zoe was saying, EVM equivalent, whereas ZK Sync is taking the approach where they want to be able to include other programming languages in the future where, maybe there could be code written in C++ or in Rust. And so, it's kind of like a different approach where maybe they're trying to open up to more developers, but yet that might require more work by the developers to get on that system. So I think that's kind of a key differentiator there as well.
Absolutely. And you can tell, just by looking at the TVL of the chain so far, as we mentioned, it launched a couple of months ago, was low for a while. And here in the last 2 weeks, you actually see a material pickup, right? We've gone from about 2 million in TVL 2 weeks ago to now kind of picking up, nearing kind of that 15 to 20 million TVL range. Um, so clearly some excitement and, some notice is being given to Polygon zkEVM right now. Me personally, I'm planning to bridge over and start trying to use the chain, see how the user experience is, see how the fees are, how the speed is, just because I'm curious to kind of figure out more. Here you can see some of the top protocols to keep your eyes on. Yeah,
And so, Zoe, question for you. When you look at the optimistic side, when gas fees are high on Ethereum, what are your possible gas fees that you would see on Arbitrum? Like, do you have any examples of maybe what that comparison is?
yeah. So I mean, I really think that one of the reasons why um, optimistic rollups have really taken off this year. Probably some of the biggest winners of the year, if you ask me. And the reason is because you can transact so cheaply and so quickly, right? While still using Ethereum as the native gas token. That's crucial, right? Because everyone, if you're in crypto, you probably own some Ethereum, which means it's very seamless to do, and it's seamless to move over from ETH L1 over there. In my experience, 99% of the time, the gas fees on Arbitrum and Optimism are really low. On Arbitrum, I was getting, transactions fees for like 25 cents, maybe, 20 cents, something like that. Definitely less than $1. In recent times, with the whole meme coin season kind of blowing up, when gas was just through the roof, we were seeing, at that time, transactions on Arbitrum were about, $2 to $3. So definitely a material pickup. Obviously, a lot cheaper than spending, $500 on a ETH L1 transaction at that time, or something crazy like that. But definitely a material uptick. And when you think about like microtransactions and things like that, where you want to be able to transact in really small amounts, particularly in developing countries and things like that, it could be a potential roadblock. So I'm really curious to see kind of what gas fees and stuff look like on Polygon zkEVM, and how that kind of scalability solution works.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, something that kind of came up in this past week was Sandeep's reply on Twitter to another, user that was basically, kind of trashing the TVL that zkEVM had compared to zk Sync. And I think there was a lot said in this tweet when he's talking about, basically ZK Sync had this huge run up in TVL because of the airdrop that came. And so something that he's talked about is there's a lot of updates coming to Polygon zkEVM as well. But one thing that we'll note in this tweet is that he says there is no rule that an existing token can't do a massive airdrop with a little winky
Winky
face there.
face.
So yeah, and so who knows? Maybe an airdrop could be coming to zkEVM in the near future here as well.
Right. Definitely a reason to be excited here. And a reason to, at least put your hat in the ring to try for an airdrop, right?
Yeah.
Uh, can't hurt. Can't hurt. So, I mean, with all that said, we want to show you guys kind of how you guys can get involved in the ecosystem. If you're curious about, bridging over and trying out some of the dApps, and just generally exploring on zkEVM. I mean, for no better reason, maybe you could end up with part of the airdrop, right? So really nothing to lose here. So um, really just want to show you guys how to go about doing that. So the first thing you're going to want to do to come over to this web page. This is just the zkEVM homepage. We'll leave the link in the description, and it's super easy. But on your MetaMask wallet or whatever wallet you choose to use, you can simply just click this button. It's super easy. It'll pull up the MetaMask stuff to simply just add zkEVM network to your wallet in the first place. You're going to want to do that first. Next, if you hit this bridge button, you're going to be taken over to this page, which is super simple, right? Like just your normal native bridge. You're going to be bridging from, obviously you're going to need Ethereum on L1, and you simply put in how much you want to transfer to zkEVM. That's all good. It'll show you your estimated gas fees and the time. So as you can see, it takes about 15 minutes to get your funds over to zkEVM in your wallet. And you simply click bridge, and within 15 minutes, you should have some ETH over in your wallet where you can start using it to play around on Polygon zkEVM. So really not too different from any other bridging situation, but we did want to show you guys just if you're curious how to get involved. Obviously, wait till gas fees are a little down, maybe in the middle of the night or something, to try this out. But yeah, we'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments below. So if you guys do end up trying it, definitely let us know what your experience is like. All right. Well, I think that does it for today. Great episode on Polygon zkEVM. We're going to be keeping track of all the latest updates for you guys. So make sure to tune back in. And, if you found any of this useful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below. We really appreciate hearing from you guys. And yeah, we'll see you next week here on Wagmi TV.